And Bright Sons.
Bright Sons, everyone, welcome in.
Welcome in, everybody. It's great to see you guys. We had kind of a 2-week interruption there, just life happening and things going on, but we're back to review episode 7 of season 1 of Ahsoka, and I'm excited. I'm excited about this one. The series is coming to an end, and a lot happens in this episode. This is a really exciting episode.
Yes, it is.
I really enjoyed this one. What did you think about it, William?
I did too. Yeah, I enjoyed it as well. You know, it's funny. A lot of people talked about how, if you loved, Star Wars Clone Wars animated series, then you would love, what is it, part 5, Shadow Warrior.
Right.
And then somebody said if you love Rebels, then you'll love this episode, and I agree.
Yes, I do too. Essentially, this is Ahsoka is a continuation of the story that was left off at the end of Rebels, which is the animated series, of course. And and a lot of people are, well, I wish we'd had something new. Well, where exactly did they expect it to pick up? Would be my question. I mean, that's the logical place to pick up is where Ahsoka, left off. Her appearances in The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett were kind of incidental,
pretty much.
So, as to that time period. But anyway, I have really enjoyed this one. We really appreciate everybody being in chat. Welcome in Dean the Turkey Legster and Surf Bum. And let's say I did want to if you're new to the stream, if you're watching on the replay, new to the channel, thank you so much for your sub, because we have gotten several new subs. We've had I've put up several shorts recently that seem to have brought a lot of people to the channel. We really appreciate it. We had several new people in Hitchhiker Chat on Tuesday, which is our regular weekly program, and we really appreciate you guys. So welcome. If you're new to the channel, watching on the replay, we really appreciate our team replay. So thank you. We appreciate it. Caution, spoilers ahead. We're gonna go ahead and jump into this. William, did you want to do the recap of episode 5, which was titled Far, Far Away?
This is episode 4. That episode 4 would have been the one that Shadow Warrior. Let's see.
I didn't rename it.
Well, this is part 7. Sorry. This is part 7. Yes, there we go. So part 6. Ahsoka and Yang arrive at Peridea, the ancient world, the home world of the witches Dathomir. Morgan and company are greeted by the Great Mothers as they wait on the Witch's Tower for Thrawn. Baylan and Shin talk privately, and we get more clues as to Baylan's goals, which clearly don't line up with Morgan's. He tells Shin that he's looking for something that will finally bring the conflict to an end, something that will guarantee them ultimate power. What I seek is the beginning, as one of the folks there from Baylan last episode. Star Wars Thrawn Destroyer, the Chimera, arrives and hovers over the tower. We finally see Grand Admiral Thrawn. He allows Sabine to leave, on a howler, and sends Baylan and Shin after her to destroy her and Ezra, should she find them. Should she find Ezra, that is. Sabine is attacked by nomads, but eventually finds Ezra with the help of the Noti, these funny little turtle people. Ezra says, "I can't wait to get home." Sabine is not forthcoming with the details as to how she got here or who she got here with.
Right, or how they could possibly get home. So because she at this point thinks Ahsoka is dead, so she thinks there's no cavalry on the horizon. So but she's really happy to see him, so she kind of deflects his questions.
Let's see. Thrawn is waiting on some sort of cargo transfer before they leave the galaxy. He learns all he can about Ahsoka and seems troubled that her master is Anakin Skywalker. And he tells Morgan to destroy any star whales that should approach the planet.
Yes.
I saw a really funny meme of, he was instantly like, oh, whenever he hears that Ahsoka's master is Anakin Skywalker, was a kind of you don't see Thrawn sweat much ever.
You don't.
If ever.
You don't.
And,
ever.
and
I've
that,
never seen Thrawn sweat.
And so it was well then that changes things a little bit. And so I laughed super hard because I saw this meme the other day. Is like, that was his response to finding out that Ahsoka was just Anakin's Padawan. Just wait till he finds out about who his son is.
That's true.
Somebody, little known character known as Luke Skywalker. That should be all the more amusing should we get the some sort of on-screen moment of him finding out. Oh, and by the way, little footnote here. Anakin actually had a son and a daughter, but the son is the one that kind of blew up the first Death Star, and then and was directly responsible for assisting with blowing up the other one. Oh, and by the way, defeated the Emperor and Darth Vader as well. So
yes. So yeah, he's going to be a little problem for you there, Grand Admiral. Yeah. Ahsoka's just the beginning of your troubles.
Yeah. So
we'll talk a little bit more about his history with Anakin. In a few minutes.
So we cut to the hearing to start this episode. Hera faces a hearing to determine whether or not she should be suspended. Mothma presides over the hearing. Senator Ziono
with a Z. X is pronounced like X. It's Xiono. It's X is pronounced like a Z. Ziono.
Let's see, and accuses Hera of portrayed by Nelson Lee of Mulan. Accuses Hera of ignoring direct orders. Hera replies, "No, she protected the Republic by ignoring him." Senator Ziono's smug and accusatory, and his dealings with Hera. Yeah, and hey, welcome in, Evan Hudden. Thanks for being here. We agree, Evan. People had their, people are always going to complain about stuff, especially Star Wars fans. But I, for one, really enjoyed this series. Were there some things I was like, okay, there were a couple of things. I mean, you're always going to have that. But by and large, I think next week's episode or whenever we cover the finale of this series, I mean, it's very exciting to see, the different, threads that we have to follow, that hopefully we get closure on. Surely they have to give us a season 2. I heard that, I'd heard that it was kind of up in the air still, but surely they're going to greenlight that. But anyway,
I would think so. I can't say them stopping here. Thanks for popping in, Evan.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Evan. Let's see. And he insists that her report reads like a child's fairy tale. Hera mentions the Imperial remnant, and he says that is improbable. Hera says, "I don't know what frightens me more, the possibility of what might happen or your unwillingness to see it." And he mentions that.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Oh, you're good. Go ahead.
This is. I was just going to say, it kind of let you finish, describing the scene. This senator is really combative. He's very accusatory. He's very cynical. He's arrogant. Well, this is not happening, and that's not happening. And your report, read like a child's fairy tale, star whales and Jedi, and he's just very condescending to her. And Hera keeps her demeanor professional. She really does. She takes his jabs pretty well, and And then,
yeah, and so he motions that General Syndulla be court-martialed for disobeying a direct order, and Mon Mothma is clearly not pleased, but says nothing. But all of a sudden we get a disturbance, and someone tries to enter the courtroom. They're kind of being being shielded from entering the proceedings, and it's none other than C-3PO, Anthony Daniel, once more. I mean, my goodness. What a cameo. I did not, that definitely was not on my personal bingo card for this series.
It was not.
It was an appearance by C-3PO. But that's amazing. Very, wonderful to see Anthony Daniels reprise the role yet again.
Absolutely.
C-3PO.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's just
amazing.
Wonderful.
Amazing. Yeah.
And Chancellor Mon Mothma welcomes him, and he enters the court, enters to tell the court that he has brought a message from Senator Organa. She personally sanctioned Hera's mission to CTOS, being unaware that Giono had voted against it without her. Giono objects, "This is preposterous. The court cannot admit evidence of this kind from a mere droid."
Mirror droid.
Yeah, it cracked me up because a Chopper's in the audience with Carson Teva, and he basically gives him the why I oughta, it fires him up, and some mere droid. I mean, good grief, know your role, C-3PO is no mere droid.
C-3PO is no mere droid. And Mon Mothma welcomes him. She obviously recognizes C-3PO's importance and is happy to see him. Not only because I think she probably suspects he brings some good news for Hera, but because she knows this droid and she knows his history. Yeah, he is not just a mere droid at all.
So C-3PO ignores him. It continues saying, yes, Senator Organa is willing to overlook this misstep, but asks that you address any further concerns to her directly in her role as leader of the Defense Council. Leia via C-3PO pulls rank on Giono, and he reluctantly backs down since he has no other choice. Hera thanks C-3PO.
She words her message to get across her point. I am the leader of the Defense Council, and I was unaware that you had not sanctioned this mission. However, I did. So shut up and sit down. Basically, it's really a polite.
Take a seat.
Here it is. Take a seat. There you go. There you go.
And so, Hera thanks C-3PO. He responds that it is his pleasure and his programming to be of service. Great cameo. And Dean's right here. Surprise cameo. Not the droid I was looking for, but not complaining. That's fantastic.
And Anthony Daniels, I meant to pull this up, y'all. I'll try to put together a little slideshow of some memes to show quickly next week when we get to the finale, because there were so many great memes, and Anthony Daniel tweeted a wonderful tweet out to fans about how honored he was to appear in this episode. It's absolutely fantastic. I did want to mention that William and I had the pleasure of seeing Anthony Daniel in person at the how shall I put it? When they blew up Star Tours.
Yes.
It was
when
last tour to Endor.
Boba Fett blew up Star Tours before they,
the last tour to Endor.
They closed it briefly to add scenes from the, for I think the Force Awakens is what they'd planned to do. So they'd done some refurbishment work too, but pretty neat.
It was cool. He was there along with none other than George Lucas,
the maker.
So
George Lucas. So it's pretty funny here. Mon Mothma approaches Hera and asks to speak to her. She says that she knows Leia did not authorize Hera's mission, and Hera said she did eventually. from a certain point of view,
Right.
retroactively after
Yeah.
after I'd gone on and done my gone my
Done my
own
bit.
way. Yeah,
Right. But she agreed with me, and
yeah.
so she sanctioned the mission. Yeah.
And so Mon Mothma asked how real the threat of Thrawn's return is. And
Very
it's very,
seriously.
very seriously. Harris says we have to prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
Right.
And so, bit of trivia here: the only Star Wars production that Anthony Daniels has not played C-3PO in the movie is Solo. So,
yeah,
pretty neat there.
Pretty cool.
But
Yeah.
go ahead and pass it off to you
Very
for
cool.
the next scene, Mom.
Yeah. So then, that was just fantastic, y'all. That cameo by Anthony Daniels.
Great surprise.
It's fantastic. To connect with him. Obviously the fans love him. Portrayed C-3PO in the original Star Wars movie in 1977. So then aboard the Fulcrum, we're still in transit inside the Purgle's mouth. So the Fulcrum, Ahsoka and Huyang, are inside the Purgle's mouth to make the jump, and so they're passing the time during the trip. Ahsoka, now this is an amazing scene, guys.
Yes, it is.
It's a real different scene, one that really, really pulls at your heartstrings, especially if you're familiar with the Clone Wars. Ahsoka is training with her lightsaber, but there is a hologram of Anakin present, and he's actually coaching her and training her. And he says, in this war, Ahsoka, you'll face much more than just droids. Asajj Ventress, interesting mention of Asajj Ventress there, General Grievous, and even Count Dooku. So, he mentions three, major adversaries there, enemies, assassins, to bad guys. But, so it's really nice to see Anakin actually training Ahsoka. This is kind of a rare look. And he says, at the end of this particular holo, he says, "I know you can do this, Ahsoka." So then, Huyang enters the room, and Ahsoka, stands and bows to Anakin. Even in the hologram, she shows him due respect and tells Huyang that Anakin actually made 20 or more of these type recordings, and that this was the last one that he made. And so it's really, really, emotional for Ahsoka, and it's emotional for us because we, so love Anakin Skywalker. The Clone Wars are really the look that you get at Anakin Skywalker, a much closer look than you get in the prequels, and we just come to love him, which makes his fall, even that much tougher. Ahsoka says he was a good master. So
the really great thing about this, the really great thing about this is that Hayden Christensen, caught flack and stuff, for the prequels. And then they changed the Force Ghost, to look like him at Return of the Jedi. And then, the character gets so much love from the Clone Wars animated series, voiced by Matt Lanter, not Hayden Christensen. And then finally, we see him, we see him make his big screen return in Kenobi. Or no, I say big screen return. He makes his return in Kenobi, and and he's just embraced and celebrated. And so, I really love that. It's the same thing with Ahmed Best. With with Jar Jar. It's wonderful to see. These actors get their flowers.
Well, and even Ewan McGregor. Ewan McGregor, all of the actors, in that prequel really were heavily criticized, and they were, discouraged because they felt like, so many of the fans did not receive those well. And this is kind of a redemption thing, and really, I absolutely love it because, you had said, William, my Star Wars were the
The
originals,
prequels.
the 70s,
For me.
the
Yeah.
prequels. Well, but those were your Star Wars.
The
These were
prequels
the
were
ones
mine.
that
Yeah.
you went to
Yours
see.
were the originals. Yeah.
Mine were the originals. Yes.
Uh-huh.
But this was your era. These were
Yeah.
the ones that you grew up with, and so
Yeah.
it's fantastic. It's fantastic to see. When Ahmed Best, what Jedi did Ahmed Best come back as?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
I'm trying to think. He has a really cool name, but
Yeah.
he turns out to have been. He comes back and portrays
Keller
the
and Beck.
Jedi. Yes. Yes.
Coincidentally, is also in the game show Star Wars Jedi Temple Challenge. And so that's where the character.
And they brought him back to play Keller, or brought Ahmed Best back to play Keller and Beck. He had previously voiced Jar Jar Binks and faced a lot of criticism for it. But then he plays Keller and Beck, and actually is the person, the Jedi who rescues Grogu from the Jedi Temple during Order 66.
Yeah.
So, just fantastic save there. Bravo, bravo Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau for that.
Yeah. And the other thing too, and the other thing that I really love about this too is we do get an on-screen acknowledgement of, that era, like that character. We get Anakin in his, wearing his armor, from the Clone Wars. And so it's kind of like they've gone back and aligned the two, because people love, the animated Anakin, and some, sometimes aren't as high on, how he's portrayed in the prequels. And so this really is the marriage between the two in live action form.
That's a good point. Very good point.
Yeah. But anyway, great scene here. I think it's really neat. We do see interaction between Luke and Ahsoka in The Mandalorian. And so, I can't help but wonder, if she would have, if Shirley would have taken him to see these recordings, to watch these recordings on the ship.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, off-screen stuff, obviously.
That's an interesting thought. Yeah, that was
pretty
cool. I love to see, the thing that we're loving, I think the thing that the fans are loving is the tying together of all the Star Wars universe in this. Like you said, that was, kind of a mashing of Anakin and Darth Vader to kind of bring them together for fans that might not be familiar with the Clone Wars. But all of these newer Star Wars productions that Dave Filoni is bringing to us, The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, Kenobi, and Ahsoka, are all just piecing all of it together, giving us great background, on what happened. And I just love it. I don't, I sometimes just wish that these people, these people who are just complainers, would just kind of back up and take a breath and look at the scope of what Disney has done with the, with the Star Wars universe. Yes, Disney took over the Star Wars universe, and everybody screamed and hollered and whatever, what complained and what have you. And yet, Disney has put two very capable people in charge of Star Wars. And let us not forget that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau and company, because they have a wonderful cast of people around them, other directors who have also been amazing. They call in George Lucas on this stuff. Okay. They are not operating in a vacuum. George Lucas still has some input into this. So let's not treat this as so Disney has like yanked this away from George Lucas and, they're just totally doing things that he wouldn't approve and blah, blah, blah. That's not the case at all, folks. So, I would encourage you, in order to see that, let me go down just a second and tell you what to watch on Disney Plus. There is a short. It is called Master and Apprentice. a special look at Ahsoka. It is only 8 minutes long. Again, it's on Disney Plus, Master and Apprentice. Check that out. And that's and that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah. But yeah, back on track. Yeah, it's a great scene. She says he was a good master. Huyang tells her that the whales are slowing down. They may be close to their destination. Ahsoka tells him that when they arrive, they need to find Sabine. Huyang is worried, and she is undaunted, even playful. Ahsoka smiles. You can't help but wonder if her experience in the world between worlds has, kind of changed her, kind of gotten her back on track, if you will.
Yeah. Because I don't know that I've ever seen her smile. I mean, her demeanor. It's not just the fact that she's wearing white after after it's we've talked about it being kind of a Gandalf the Gray versus Gandalf the White thing, because she comes from the world between worlds, and her clothing changes. She begins to wear white instead of her usual darker colors. And her demeanor has also changed because she smiles, and it seems to have lightened her spirit. This experience in the world between worlds, it really seems to have allowed her maybe to put aside
taking some weight off of her shoulder.
Yes, and move forward. So I love seeing that. That's my impression. Yeah.
They drop out of hyperspace and into an Imperial minefield. The whales jump to hyperspace again to get out of the minefield. Again, that's Thrawn. Thrawn has, set this up, essentially, set up a trap for the whales. Ahsoka navigates the ship through the minefield only to face Imperial fighters.
Yeah.
And then Morgan presents Thrawn with a report on Ahsoka. He seems disturbed that her master was Anakin Skywalker. Thrawn says if she is anything like her master, she'll be unpredictable and quite dangerous. He tells Morgan that they must control the situation. This is, and then again, this is what Thrawn is good at. And that's being one step ahead of our heroes. So, So they're pursued by these fighters, and then they go hide. And Huyang and Ahsoka shut off the ship's power to avoid detection. Thanks, Jillian. I'll let you pick it back up.
Let's see. Okay,
the Noti.
So the Noti, we cut back to this little group of little turtle people, which I absolutely have fallen in love with. So they're moving in small armored pod looking things, the Noti. Ezra and Sabine are in one of these pods, and they're all kind of just, moving. They are nomadic, and they don't stay in one place for very long. So Sabine is catching Ezra up on, what's been going on in his absence, which is about 9 years. He's been gone for at least 9 years. She tells him that Ahsoka took her on as her apprentice, and his first reaction is why.
Yeah.
Which was kind of funny, but he's but he tries to smooth it over and says, oh well, I know you practiced a little bit while I was learning, and blah blah blah. So he smooths that over, and so he begins to ask more questions, and she still hesitates to answer them. She still just doesn't have the heart to tell him what happened when she gave the map to Baylan Skoll, and rather than shut him down. And so at any rate, they're moving along, and then the scene cuts to Baylan and Shin, and the nomads arrive at an overlook, and they're still searching for Sabine. So it's just a quick look at, well, not the nomads, but Baylan and Shin. It's just a quick look there, to let us know that they're still on the hunt for Sabine and Ezra. So Thrawn approaches the witches, and he again enlists their help in finding Ahsoka. They say, of course, their allegiance is to Thrawn, interestingly enough, and they have formed an alliance on this planet. So Ahsoka, Huyang is unable to locate Sabine, with the ship sensors. And so Ahsoka says, okay, no problem. There's another way. So she closes her eyes and goes to reach out with the Force. And Hu Yang says, do you really believe that your connection is, in the Force is that strong? It's, so the question kind of hangs in the air as Ahsoka reaches out with the Force to Sabine, and Sabine hears her. It works. Yeah. Sabine actually hears her and recognizes, okay, something's going on. Because again, Sabine still thinks that Ahsoka's dead at this point. But Ahsoka locates her via the Force. Now, just as she does, the witches are able to use that connection, if you will, to pinpoint Ahsoka's location. So that's good news, bad news, kind of thing. So then Thrawn dispatches Enoch to destroy Ahsoka. Good luck with that, but that's what he does. So then and I'll have to say, just as a quick comment here, I have really enjoyed seeing the witches of Dathomir in live action. I did not expect that at all.
I didn't either.
And so I've really enjoyed that because they play an interesting role, really, really creepy in the Clone Wars. So it's just kind of fun to see them aligned with Thrawn. So now this next scene is really interesting, and they're throwing up a lot of things in this episode and the finale, which I've already watched, that I just was not expecting, and this is one of them. Baylan tells Shin to contact Thrawn, kill Sabine and Ezra Bridger, and take your place in the coming Empire. Okay, so quick, easy to remember, right? Simple, easy to remember. Contact Thrawn, kill Sabine and Ezra Bridger, and take your place in the coming Empire. Oh, okay. So Shin looks at him, and says, "You won't help?" And he replies to her, "Your ambition drives you in one direction. My path lies in another." So you realize at this point, oh, wait a minute, it finally hits you. They're parting ways. Yeah. So she realizes that he's leaving her. So he says, one parting lesson, Shin. Impatience for victory will guarantee defeat. So now that's an interesting line. I think it's probably gonna come back to haunt, Shin and
be a bit prophetic.
Yes, I absolutely think so. So Shin does what he says. She contacts Thrawn with Ezra's location, and he dispatches 2 gunships to engage Sabine and Ezra. So without much fanfare, Shin leaves Baylan and goes with the Nomads to engage Ezra and Sabine. It's really interesting to see them separate for the final time here with no thank you. No, I mean, I guess with Sith, it's different than it would be with with Master and Apprentice. There's not that there's no hugging. Baylan doesn't strike me as the hugging type. So there's just kind of a okay. There's not even a see ya. She just leaves. So it's interesting with all the emotion that we see between Master and Apprentice Jedi. It's interesting to see, these relationships are totally different with Sith, obviously, because of their nature and their belief system. But so that was,
seemingly they're somewhere in between. It's like they're not fully blown, not necessarily fully blown dark side. I mean, they're dark, but they're kind of seemingly gray. It's interesting, their lightsabers being like a blood orange color versus like a full blown red, and even Dave Filoni has commented on on that, and I'd seen some interview or somebody interview him, and they're like, "Oh, you're the first person to bring that up." Yeah, we did want to indicate that they're these people are a little bit different, and so anyway, so they're kind of a question mark, if you will, when it comes to the Force. Obviously not light side, Jedi, but potentially not necessarily full blown Sith either. So
they're kind of somewhere in between, I think. I mean, at one point Baylan makes the comment to her that he trained her to be something more.
Well, yeah.
So
exactly.
We don't know exactly how they got together, where she came from. There are a lot of questions on the background for both of these characters, but I think we're going to learn more. I think we're going to learn more about it. Now, again, the fact that Ray Stevenson passed away, just really is not only hurtful to lose this fantastic actor that we've watched in, even
different things.
Different things. He was fantastic in Avengers, in the Avengers universe. So he's been in a lot of different franchises, and we really hate to lose him as an actor. But it will be interesting to see how they proceed, because I think obviously his character's storyline was going to be central somehow to season 2. I think they were going to continue his storyline, so we'll see how they handle that.
So Sabine and Ezra engage the nomads. The Noti are peaceful, so they have no weapons. And
they're pacifists, so they
they do have like little slingshot things, which is interesting. Which is funny. I mean, they definitely picked that up from Ezra if you've watched Rebels. But
they did. They did. Yeah, that's funny. It is cool. Yeah.
Ezra won't leave them, and he instructs them to stop and circle the wagons, circle the little roly-poly looking transports. And meanwhile, Ahsoka flies over the battle, and he says that they can't land in the battle per Jedi mission protocol. She tells them no need to land. Yang says, "Oh no, not this again," and and they're still under fire. But Ahsoka tells them to lower the ramp. Yang retracts the ramp steps. She slides down and jumps from the ship to the ground to help Sabine, which is really cool way to enter the battle.
This is fun. That's fun to watch. Yeah.
She tops the hill only to find Baylan waiting for her. It says, well, now this is a surprise. I didn't expect to see you again. And he seems anxious to engage her again. So they fight, and she gives him the slip. But meanwhile, as this, this fight starts, meanwhile, as Sabine offers Ezra his lightsaber back, he refuses it, saying that he doesn't need it. He says, "No, the Force is my ally. That's all I need." And so, it's interesting that Ezra refused his saber from Sabine, as well as a blaster. It's Sabine. Sabine's not. Without the without the lightsaber, Sabine's not unarmed. She's got her trusty pistol. And a host of other Mandalorian stuff. To assist each travels.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
And
Sabine is a formidable Mandalorian adversary. Sabine is of a Clan Ren, of course, and without the lightsaber, Sabine is still can beat you.
She can still handle herself. Yeah,
she can still handle herself very well. So.
Yeah. And so Ezra hasn't used a lightsaber in at least 9 years, trusting that Sabine is more qualified to wield it. Ezra gave his lightsaber to Sabine during the Battle of Lothal and now considers it hers. It's possible that he may be forced to pick it back up again. We'll see. But for now, he fights fine without it. Does some really cool stuff with the Force.
Yes.
I would have, with 9 years dedicated to, communing with the Force, I would have, there's I would have liked to see, some him do some cooler stuff, if you will, other than kind of, force pushes and, I mean, you can like break the ground. You can do like basically like a concussion thing, and there's a whole host of things you could do.
Or something.
Yeah, and
Throw
so
something.
but during his exile on Perea, it's likely that Ezra has continued fighting Thrawn by taking out some of the night troopers. In other words, he's learned how to fight without the need for a weapon. It's still possible that and which we've seen this already because we watched the finale, but it's still possible that Dave Filoni's setting up for a big moment for the audience in Ahsoka's finale, where Ezra is forced to pick up his lightsaber again, similar to when Captain America finally wields Mjolnir in Avengers Endgame. But until then, Ezra seems to make do fighting by the seat of his pants using the Force. Perhaps he's developed an unwavering trust in the Force during his exile, seeing as he has nothing else in his arsenal to fight Thrawn with. They fight the nomads as Baylan and Ahsoka continue the duel on the hill above. Shin arrives and engages Ezra and Sabine, and Ezra said, "It's not looking good for you."
They kind of are, surround Shin, and Ezra saying, "You're really outnumbered here, kiddo." Yeah.
Yes, and then Baylan tells Ahsoka, "You can't defeat me," and Ahsoka says, "Perhaps I don't have to," and she steals his ride and takes off. So it is interesting, the fact that Ahsoka hasn't defeated Baylan in a duel leads to many more questions as to who he is. Ahsoka's a formidable, Jedi adversary. So the fact that Baylan has defeated her is pretty amazing, and a testament to his ability to wield the Force and wield lightsaber. So Huyang lays down fire from the fulcrum, and Ahsoka escapes on Baylan's howler. Baylan watches her go and departs in the opposite direction. It's like, nah, okay. He goes back to he goes back toward pursuing whatever it is that he's pursuing, which is interesting. He's just like, nah. I mean, he knows good and well that Ahsoka's headed to go reinforce Ezra and Sabine, and in opposition to Shin. So, but he just all right, see ya.
It doesn't. I've got other fish to fry. So he just
exactly. The gunships arrive at the battle. Thrawn, watching from the ship on this cool like hollow chest looking thing, watching everything shake out in real time, which is interesting. Again, looks like he's basically playing chess. He notices that Baylan's skull is not in the fight. And that's
we're short one a mercenary.
So, that's not it's not something that Thrawn had planned for not something that something he had calculated in this interaction here in this conflict. Troopers surround Sabine and Ezra. Shin says, "Destroy them," and this classic moment here. Classic Ezra says, "Wait, we could talk. Don't you want to take us prisoner?" And 100% it's an Ezra move. His character. It's funny because anytime you see his picture, like on the internet, if you see Star Wars memes and stuff, you'll see somebody put like Jabba the Hutt, and it's Ezra. Because Ezra comes up with these fake identities and fake monikers because he's been taken prisoner and broken out so many times that he absolutely wants to get taken prisoner so he can bust out because he's done it plenty of times. It's tale as old as time.
He's a slippery one.
He's
slippery.
He's come up with different monikers over time. Jabba the Hutt, Lando Calrissian, Commander Brom Titus. If you ever see anybody post a picture of Ezra and they put Brom Titus or Jabba the Hutt or Lando, that's one of the fake identities that he's pretended to put on in Rebels. So but yeah, he's a talker. He definitely tries to work himself out of situations.
To getting out of sticky situations.
Shin tells the troopers to fire, and then Ahsoka arrives. Hiang says, "Well, they're all back together. I hope I survive long enough to see the outcome."
Which was hilarious. That was just kind of a quick clip,
Welcome
move
in,
to
Angela.
Hiang, and it was just funny. I just died laughing. Oh, hey, Angela, welcome in. Thanks for materializing. Appreciate you.
You can pick it up, Mom.
Okay, so Ezra, at this point, he's using the Force to take down the troopers. I mean, we see, with Shin and these two trooper bunches. I forget the terminology, but so they surround the Noti and Ezra, and we think, this is not good because they're clearly outnumbered. But Ezra then begins to use the Force to take down the troopers, and Sabine, who still who has the lightsaber and her Mandalorian weapons, is not to be trifled with. She's cutting and slashing and kicking tail and taking names, and so the battle quickly turns in their favor, and Thrawn sees that his forces are pretty much defeated, and he orders a retreat. Wow. Thrawn is constantly trying to see the big picture. And so he orders a retreat. And he says, in the grand scheme of things, these are acceptable losses. And one might even call this first match with Tano a success. The fact that he says he does call this a first match with Tano, which I caught, and this indicates that he realizes he's going to have to tangle with her again. If they don't finish her off, he's going to have to tangle with her again. So that's an interesting statement, I thought, on his part. Morgan protests. She's standing there and she says, "All I see is our enemies reunited." And Thrawn says, "Well, let me tell you what I see." Again, Thrawn's always looking at the big picture, guys. With our enemy distracted, the cargo transfer is almost complete, which means that we will soon leave this forsaken place. Ahsoka Tano has lost the one thing she could not afford to lose today: time. Time is very much on our side now, and I shall keep it that way. So he is looking at this as a temporary setback, perhaps, and one that actually, if he couldn't defeat Ahsoka, then he has delayed her, because that puts them ahead of the game time wise.
I mean, if they can jump out of this galaxy back to where they came from, then and strand them there, 100% he's won. So that's a win for him. Does it stink to lose troopers? Sure, but his goal is to get out of this galaxy, and he's by doing this, he's made a small sacrifice to bring him much closer to his end goal.
Yes. So he's willing. Thrawn is willing to sacrifice anything. Okay, troopers. He's already said that Shin and Balin, didn't matter whether they went with him or they were stranded there. He couldn't care less. All he's interested in is his end goal. And, probably what Morgan is not realizing that is that he'll strand her too. He'll do anything. He doesn't mind walking over anybody, to accomplish his goals. So he continues on, and Shin then on the battlefield sees the troops withdrawing, retreating. And she kind of just stops and looks around like, what the heck's going on? And something really interesting, happens here. Ahsoka stops Ezra and Sabine from advancing on Shin. And she actually reaches out to Shin and says, "Surrender your weapon. I can help you." Did not expect that. I believe that Ahsoka probably sees something in Shin Maybe it's a situation where Ahsoka still sees a spark of good in her.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Or her master has just left her, so she has to be confused. She has to be upset. And I think Ahsoka, senses that
Yeah.
confusion, and she says, "Surrender your weapon. I can help you." Well, Shin kind of looks at her and she's like stunned, but then she does run away. She runs away.
Yeah.
She doesn't, but Ahsoka tries. She does try, which if Ahsoka sensed that conflict in Shin, you would expect a Jedi to do that. To even reach out and help an enemy if she can. So against all odds here, our heroes are successful, and Ahsoka's appeal to Shin is very interesting. It really is.
They've won the battle, but it remains to stand whether or not they've won the war. So they've won this small battle here.
Yeah. So the enemy is in retreat, and Sabine looks around, and this is the first time that she has had really to address Ahsoka because they've kind of been busy fighting. And Sabine says, "I thought you were dead." And Ahsoka says, "And miss this reunion." And she turns to Ezra and gives him a huge hug. Now, the other thing that Ahsoka does here that I don't think that I've not seen her do in live action, she laughs.
Yeah.
She just lets out this. She's so incredibly happy to see Ezra because she just adores him. They have fought together side by side, y'all. Go watch Rebels. You'll see all that. The camaraderie is really amazing here, and she just laughs. She just lets out a laugh. She's so happy to see him again. An indication that she has a lighter spirit. Ahsoka is on a better track here than she was when this series first started. But so Hu Yang, comes and hovers, above them in the fulcrum, and the Noti are so cute, y'all. They start to, they come out and they're unsure, a friend or foe, and Ezra assures them that these are all friends. Well, then they get real excited, and it's really, really cute. Start coming out of their little roly poly things, and Ezra says, "I think I might be going home after all." And cue the end sequence. But this I really enjoyed so much about this particular episode. And I watched it several times because Jeff comes home and I watch it again with him, and then I watch it to watch it with the subtitles on so I can make notes. And so I've watched it several times, and every time I watch this, I pick up more details and a deeper appreciation for the dialogue and what's actually happening.
Yeah,
because there are some. Okay, well, you do, Angela. Golly, it is very good. Yeah, it is very good. Yeah, you have been pretty busy, though, Angela. We understand you've been really busy. But yeah, so this is the end of episode 7. And I did want to tell you a little bit more about General Thrawn's knowledge of Anakin Skywalker. When Thrawn reads Ahsoka's bio, he tells Morgan to get as much information as she can on Ahsoka. He gets this really curious, like a knowing look on his face. And so he says, so Ahsoka Tano was the apprentice of General Anakin Skywalker. Because Thrawn once knew Anakin Skywalker. This is a bit of a nod to Timothy Zahn's prequel novels about Thrawn. And in Chaos Rising, it takes place in 19 BBY, near the end of the Clone Wars, at the time when Thrawn was still an officer in the Chiss expansionary defense fleet. Now, this history is there. So in one incident in the book, Thrawn actually assists Anakin, and Thrawn is remembering that. Even though Thrawn is not a Jedi, so he's not tuned into the Force. He can't, which is why actually he needs the Witches of Dathomir, by the way, because they are somehow, have a channel on the Force, if you will. He still realizes from this old, brief association with Anakin that he is formidable. This was a case, of course, of the enemy of my enemy as my friend. And so there was a temporary cooperation between the two in that encounter. That's Timothy Zahn, guys. If you're interested in the Star Wars books, Timothy Zahn has written several prequel novels about Thrawn, and he has written one entitled Ahsoka. If you're interested, if you're a reader and want to do that, and there's a lot of information in those as well. So I highly recommend you, go to Amazon or go to your local library, guys. If you don't want to spend the money, go to your local library and check these out. I've read several of them; they are very good. So I highly recommend those books. But that's how Thrawn knows Anakin Skywalker. So with this history and with his prior dealings with Anakin, it kind of steps him back to realize that Ahsoka is actually Anakin Skywalker's Padawan. So his apprentice. So
some observations as we looked ahead in the finale. As we look to cover the finale, the next time we do or whenever we review the finale, whenever that will be. Some thoughts. What is Thrawn's cargo? What's so important that he's got to get all this, whatever this is, loaded up before he can head back to the other galaxy? What is Balin's end game? Where did he go? What is he after? He's gone his separate ways with Shin and Thrawn. How's this season going to end? We didn't have any idea. We've seen the finale; it's very good, and of course, at least with all kinds of questions. And also Disney has released a lot of new Ahsoka gear. So there's ears, mugs, new lounge fly bag, T-shirts.
T-shirts.
Mom's still waiting for a Spirit jersey.
Absolutely. They could make they really think about what a killer Spirit jersey they could make for
they ought to just go with the orange, Ahsoka orange in the middle, and then do the sleeves of it's her Togruta. So
there's so many so many directions they could go with that to be. And I would love to see Clone Wars Ahsoka. On the Spirit jersey. I would love to see that. I think that would be so cool.
What they ought to do is kind of Ahsoka through the years. Have younger Clone Wars Ahsoka, older Clone Wars Ahsoka, Rebels Ahsoka, and then Ahsoka. I think that would be really cool. I think it'd sell well too. Turkey legs. It's Thrawn's cargo.
What else could it be, Dean? I don't know. It very well could be that.
IMDb gave this episode a 7.8 out of 10, so this is a little smidge. They've hovered right around 8, so a little below 8, but still strong.
Now I gave this one a 9. I gave this one a 9 on IMDb, just because I enjoyed it that much.
Let's see. Mom has the channel news.
Yes, I have. Am I skipping? William, are we okay? It seems like I have been having some internet troubles. Am I skipping at all?
No. Yeah, no, okay, you're good.
Okay. So I have a Walt Disney World trip, y'all, coming up in 9 days. Oh my goodness, I'm getting So excited. Please subscribe and ring the notification bell so that you don't miss any of our live streams from Walt Disney World. I will be live streaming from the Magic Kingdom on Halloween.
Yeah, that's exciting.
I also have a couple of live streams coming up. There is a Halloween party that night, so I'll probably live stream that morning and then hop probably over to
that'd be fun
somewhere, Hollywood Studios
or wherever. Fun friends like we see in the chat here. We got Chris the Disney Baker, we got Dean the Turkey Lexter, and Angela DOD. So all friends in that area. So I'm sure they're all looking forward to seeing you.
Yeah. So yes. So I'm looking forward to being there for kind of an extended period of time for about a week, and so I'm hoping to live stream for you. I know y'all enjoy it when he holds the gimbal, and so lots of good things planned. I've got a lot of ideas, and just at this point trying to narrow it down to some things that I actually want to do, because it's just impossible to do everything that you want to do. So be sure to join us for our weekly show, Hitchhiker Chat, on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. Join us or watch on the replay. And I did want to also mention, guys, on my trip, I will be spending Star Wars Life Day at Hollywood Studios. Life Day also happens to be my birthday. And so on November 17th, I will be at Hollywood Studios. Hopefully, okay, Chris, you're cleaning out the garage. I've got to go mow the yard in a few minutes. So I'm kind of right there with you. Yes. Oh, Dane, I know you'll be definitely coming to see us. But yeah, I will be at Hollywood Studios on Life Day, and hopefully we'll be able to meet up with Ashley Eckstein. She's usually there for the lightsaber meetup at night at the Millennium Falcon. So I'm really have my fingers crossed and watching for her to appear there or Disney, Disney Springs or somewhere while I'm there. So I'm really, if any of you, I follow her on Instagram, and she usually announces to her fans via Instagram when she's going to be somewhere. So if you guys follow that and you see her, be sure and send me a direct message on Instagram or something and let me know, because I would love to meet Ashley Eckstein, and that would just be so cool. She's a fun person. She's a really good person, and I'm a huge fan. So looking forward to that.
She voices Ahsoka, for those that may not know the name right offhand. She voices Ahsoka in the Star Wars, Clone Wars, and Rebels.
Yeah.
She's Jedi.
And you can follow her on Instagram. So she's a good follow. Thanks so much to our channel members, guys. Mike Wheeler, Tina McNeil, Brian's West Coast Disney Adventure, Mike 88 NYC, and Texas Takes. Thank you so much, guys, for being members of the channel. If any of you are interested in becoming a member, all you have to do is click join and select a level. We would so appreciate it, and we are just really, again, appreciate those of you who do support the channel. We really appreciate it. Our ghost host moderators, we love you guys. They keep our chat family friendly, and we appreciate them too. And all of you who are watching, we appreciate you watching on the replay or ghost watching.
Thanks to Angeline, Aunt Susan, Jillian, Kylie, and other family members. Surf Bump, Dean the Turkey Lexter, Evan Hutton, newer name to our channel. Well, thanks for being here, Evan. Jillian Bone, ATJH Travels, thanks for dropping in on us. Angela DOD, and the Disney Baker. Thanks, everybody, for being here. We really appreciate it.
We do. Very much so. So join us next week, guys, or whenever. We may actually schedule that at a different time, or I don't know exactly how we'll do it. We haven't figured out, but we're going to try to get that
wrapped up before
episode 8 wrapped up before I leave. So looking forward to it. The season finale is really interesting. I enjoyed it. It's totally not what I expected. But we'll, go over all of those loose ends, storylines and where they might go with that in a season 2. So be sure and join us for the season 1 finale of Ahsoka. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, so remember to like, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we go live. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you want to reach out to us, send us a direct message on Instagram or email us at hitchhikingbones@gmail.com. Anything else, Mom, before we hop off?
I can't think of anything, guys. We appreciate you. If you have any comments or whatever, you can email us at thehitchhikingbones@gmail.com. Send us direct message on Instagram or leave a comment below. Questions or comments, observations about this or any of the episodes. We love hearing from you guys. So thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Let's see. Yes. So hope everybody has a great weekend. Have a great rest of your day as well. Remember, at the Hitchhiking Bones YouTube channel, there's always room for one more. So please
hurry back.
Bye, everybody. May the Force be with you. Always.
Till the spire, travelers.